Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 192. We're getting to 200.
Yeah.
Larry.
And Anthony here.
The right Anthony this time. I picked up the wrong one last week.
Yeah, what happened? Did you call the wrong Zoom?
I think so, and he was just available. I'm like, you know what? Too late.
You just ran with it. I'm hurt. I was replaced.
Not for long, though.
No. And really quickly, since you brought it up, thank you very much to Anthony Chu of the Yin and Yang podcast for filling in for me last week, since there was no possible way I was going to be able to be on the show.
No internet access whatsoever.
No internet access. I don't even know where I was when you recorded. I think I was somewhere in Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Somewhere in the bayou.
Yeah, somewhere like that. But the important thing is now, even though I am on location at the moment, I have officially moved across the country. I am now residing in Orlando, Florida for the foreseeable future.
All right, Orlando. Good.
Why? But when you say Orlando, all of a sudden now I'm thinking of Yolanda Vega when she would say her name when she did Lotto.
I think that may be very local.
That may be very local. That was like New York. That was New York, but that's what popped in my head when you said Orlando that way. Old New York reference.
I'm trying to think where that Orlando. That's from something, but I can't. It's been stuck in my head for decades.
It was probably a jingle or something in a commercial.
I think it was from a movie, but
maybe. But anyway, so I am here in sunny / hurricaney Orlando
right now.
Waiting for it to hit. But yeah, this is my new home.
All right. Well, congratulations. You said you're temporary right now, right? It's like
temporary in terms of the living situation.
Okay, fair enough.
By next month, I should be in a permanent residence.
Good. So right now, everything's still packed, and you still don't have anything. Not playing anything, I imagine.
No, I did. My PS4 did make it into the car for the trip.
Oh, okay.
I basically had room in the car for the cats and the PS4.
Priorities.
I did prioritize.
Very good.
I almost had to leave one cat out because the PS4 was. I managed to make it work.
Running next to the car the whole time.
One of them probably would. But yeah, so no, I did bring my PS4 with me because I needed some sense of sanity for this month, since most of August I won't be in my new home. I've been entertaining myself with that.
Good, very good. Well, continued luck with the move and everything. And once you're settled in, we can't wait to see what the things will look like at that point.
Yeah, me too. And, as a friend of mine reminded me earlier, we still have a contest going on that we have neglected completely the last couple of months.
I haven't neglected it. I just haven't had a chance to do it.
Yes. And last I remember, you were up 6-5. So
was I up one? I thought we were tied maybe.
No. You had. I didn't update the sheet, but you had surprisingly completed something you weren't expecting to, and I forgot the name of the game.
Oh, what was? Yeah, you're right. I can't remember either.
Yeah, that's where we left off. So once I'm in my new home, I would like to pick up on that again and continue the contest.
Fair enough. That is, of course, the contest of who can complete the most games by the end of the year, and I'm going with quantity over quality.
Yeah, and I'm trying to go with quality and quantity, but at the same point, I'm also going to give since we're past obviously mid-year and everything like that, I'm just going to give an assessment of this so far. We're horrible. So, I mean, between the two of us in 7 months, you've completed 6 games and I've completed 5. That's just,
let's pick
up the pace.
Life, moving, pandemic, little things have been getting in the way.
Yeah, I get that. Things are getting in the way. But, if anything, with certain situations, we've been forced to stay home, which means we should be playing more.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what we can do. We'll pick up the pace. We'll
do our best.
Well, you know what? That, may jump a little early on this topic, but it kind of brings a point where, so during the contest, we were talking about, obviously this is retro games. Games we've never beaten before. If you've beaten the game already, it doesn't count. But also we have factored in like remakes or remasters. Remastered. So remastered editions
are different.
Exactly. So remastered editions are fine, same game, newer version. what would you count, because you have a pre-order that you just did for the PlayStation VR, but it is of a classic game.
It is. My question with that pre-order, though, is if it's the same game, because they've given it a different title or subtitle, so I'm a little confused by it. But,
so we're talking. I was
yeah,
going to say,
the
we're
game
talking.
do you
I want to announce it.
You do.
It's been a while, people.
I'll give you your moment.
Actually, I want to announce it because I want to bury who's making it. Space Channel 5 from the Dreamcast is being relaunched by a crappy company called Limited Run.
Woohoo! Limited Run. Never did wrong by me.
The official title is Space Channel 5 VR, kind of funky newsflash.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what do you know about this?
Okay, so and you know what's funny? I don't know a whole bunch, because the only reason why I found out about it is because I got an email from Limited Run Games, because I'm on their email list.
Mm-hmm.
So not much known except for again, Limited Run Games, as we know, they'll re-release different game versions for current systems. So
a lot of digital only. They'll do physical.
But these. Okay, so the only thing I can tell you is that it is the Space Channel 5 game from Dreamcast, the original one, coming to you on PSVR. They just renamed it a little bit for the VR release.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I guess you would consider that a remaster.
I would. I think I would at this point.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, that's really all it is. It's the original game, which to me, I still have the original Space Channel 5. I never got my hands on the second one. But
yeah,
because there was a second one that was released, I think, right at the end of the Dreamcast console's life. So not that many copies were made. But again, Limited Run Games, they had 3 different releases for it. Like, you can get the game, a collector's edition, and then like a super deluxe edition. I just got the physical game itself.
Okay.
But right now, there are still copies available of the collector's edition. And the collector's edition actually comes with some cool stuff, because it has the actual game for the PS4. It comes with an 18 by 24 poster. Ooh. It comes with an officially licensed Sega Dreamcast jewel case.
Oh, okay.
It comes with a foam ring to transform your PlayStation Move controller into Ooh La La's microphone, because you know she sings. So you get a Space Channel 5 fidget spinner and a homemade Galaxy Blue Marolian finger puppet. The Marolians are the aliens in the game that are trying to, hijack your feed.
Trying to do you dirty.
Puppet of them. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so they have some cool additions there. I don't think the one that I bought, just the game itself, is available anymore. It's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody's interested in getting it, I bought it because I really loved the Dreamcast game, and just trying this out in VR, I think, would be really, really fun. So
yeah, I never really got into it. I was never into the game. It was like a rhythm game, right?
Yeah, you're not a rhythm game kind of guy.
I was in the beginning, frequency and amplitude, but for this one, no, I really didn't get into it. Not that I hated it, I just never got into it. But I'm just trying to envision how it can lend itself to VR. But the more I think about it, the more I do see that happening.
Yeah, I'm curious about it too, because if I remember correctly, like when you play the game, obviously your focus is always on Ooh La La, who's the main character, and then the dancers that are behind her. So you're always looking at her as she's walking to the screen for the most part. I'm assuming what they're going to do is they're just going to spin that around, then, since you're her, so that everything is just your point of view moving forward. I mean, that's
so now you're staring at cameras filming you.
Yeah,
that's what it's an empty backdrop, like on a soundstage with no audience, and just one camera, and like just some guy like eating his lunch behind the camera, and that's the whole VR experience.
Yeah, basically it'd be like, hey, you're in my shot, or somebody comes in, whatever. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it's going to work on the VR, but I enjoyed the game enough that I did, for me it was worth picking up again.
Okay, good. Well worth it. Worth it.
And in terms of rhythm games, when are you going to start Beat Saber?
You're right. Well, I got to hook up the PlayStation VR, to be honest with you. The sad thing is I just don't have the room to put the unit. I can have the room to move. I can just move my coffee table out of the way.
Right.
But I honestly don't have anywhere to comfortably put it. And every time I stare at my entertainment center, I think about that. I'm like, where can I put this system? So
All right.
we'll see.
Well, I highly recommend you try it. I think you'll get hooked on it.
I think so too. You're right. We talked about it last week during the fitness game episode that me and Anthony Chu did, and talk about how you've mentioned even it's just a great calorie burner. So, and Lord knows I need that.
Oh yeah, like I would do that for like an hour, and I would just
Can't even imagine doing that for an hour.
Yeah. Well, once you get used to it, you get your cardio up. It's a really good workout.
All right. So, limited run, as much as they are, the devil incarnate.
For some people, even though you've bought their games.
Well, I do. Yeah, I have one game coming in, and that is actually now finally, after months and maybe a year of speculation, whether or not they even got my order, because I wasn't 100% sure they got my order, because it wasn't through limited run directly. It was through like a third party, if you will, that ended up going through limited run. I am getting, and actually I just got the shipping information, my physical NES gray cartridge of Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
Very nice.
So that is going to be, and yeah, it says.
When does that arrive?
It should be arriving soon because they have the tracking number. They just, like, UPS hasn't picked it up yet, probably.
Okay.
So I would imagine within the week. And thank you for supporting us. Make this wonderful game. Regards, Limited Run Games and Terabang Entertainment.
See, Limited Run Games thanked you for your business.
Screw them. But so that's going to be on its way, and I'm looking forward to that. I got, again, there were 3 different colored cartridges. I just got the gray color. I figure, I like Jay, I like Silent Bob, so let me just cut it down the middle.
Okay, I think that's fair.
And I have the game on Switch already. Actually, I've been playing Mall Brawl, so I downloaded it on the Switch, because who knows how long it'll take for the Polymega to show up, or at the time when I ordered
November.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Supposedly.
And the game itself, it's a fun game. Mall Brawl is a very fun game. It is a throwback to 8-bit NES era. If you have the NES controllers for the Switch, it is easily playable with those controllers. Actually, it reminds me to mention something a little later about Switch controllers. But yeah, so limited run. As much as also, yes, I do have the Star Wars. The Star Wars games.
Yep.
Which, again, I did not buy directly from Limited Run. I bought it from my friend who bought it from Limited Run.
But had they not made them, you would not own them.
But I paid my friend more than I would have paid Limited Run, and I'm very happy for doing so. I'd rather him make the money than Limited Run.
Oh, Larry.
So that's how that goes. But Limited Run is not the only game, the only company available. There are other companies, and this is one I threw out. And I know it's a little more expensive. I think that's just more because it's locally. It's not that expensive, but to get it over here, it would. There's a company called Strictly Limited Gaming. That is kind of the same idea as Limited Run. They have these exclusives. They have these digital-only games that they'll put on a physical medium, which is usually at this point either PS4 or Switch.
Right.
You don't really see anything for Xbox.
Yeah, which is really interesting. And I wonder if there's some type of, like, it's a licensing issue or something. Yeah, like Microsoft basically won't allow you to do it.
Something. It's weird. It's kind of like the game, the wrestling game, Retromania Wrestling.
Yes.
Like right now on Retromania Wrestling's website, you can pre-order the game, and it's strictly digital. Like right now, there's no talk of a physical release, but you can pre-order it for the Switch or for the PC. But they say PS4 and Xbox, you cannot pre-order it yet because you have to do it, I guess, through PS4, through Xbox, and that's only when it's 30 days out from its release.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm sure there are definitely some different rules that kick in.
Sounds like it.
So this Strictly Limited series, actually, I think, has some better games. Like they have physical copies of Lode Runner that actually I do have on the Switch. It's actually a pretty fun game. They also were the ones that were selling the copies that eventually came out digital, which I got. The Darius collection, the arcade collection, and the console collection.
Cool.
And then some other ones that are, I always see it: Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, 1 and 2,
Nice.
and Coffee Talk. But what they have, which I'm just waiting for it to come out digitally, they have this awesome Space Invaders collection.
Oh yeah, you had sent that over to me, and that looked really interesting until I saw the
Yep.
price.
No, agreed. That's why I'm saying the price is good over there. Like if this game was $60 here, I think it would still be a good price, maybe even $50. Because some of these games usually are a little more money because of the run. But yeah, with the conversion rate with the euro to the US dollar, yeah, that doesn't work for us.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just going to read off the games. It's 12, I think, that are on this collection. The 1978 black and white Space Invaders.
Of course.
78 color Space Invaders, which if it's what I think it is, back then all they did was put colored cellophane over the screen.
Oh,
And
maybe.
it was like 4 separate colors. So like when you go from like when the invaders go from space 1 to space, line 1 to line 2, like there's a drastic change in color because it's just moving it's just going to the next cellophane.
Right.
And the Game Boy version, when played on the Super Game Boy, mimics that really well. It's very funny.
Awesome.
Very funny. 79 Space Invaders 2. 1990 Majestic 12 Space Invaders Part 4. I haven't even heard of half of these. 1990 Super Space Invader 91. 2018 Space Invaders Extreme, which I have, I believe, I think I have that on Game Boy. No, excuse me, DS. 2018 Space Invaders Gigamax 4 Special Edition. 2017's Arknoid versus Space Invaders.
Ooh.
That's a fun crossover. It's like the Jetsons meeting the Flintstones. 94 Space Invaders DX. 1980 Space Cyclone. And 79's Lunar Rescue.
Yeah, I can safely say that out of all of those, I've played the original, and that's about it.
Yeah. So, knock on wood, hopefully this comes out more of a digital release, which if it does, I think it'll be well worth it. But again, limited run is not the only ones out there. There's some others which are well worth sending your money to because you actually will get your games.
Yeah, well, and you will get your games with limited run as well.
Terrible. Let's stay on the topic of pre-orders. Okay. Did you have anything else pre-ordered, or was Space Channel 5 the only one for you?
No. I actually got to pre-order something else.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I did. But it wasn't a game, but of course it's game related.
Oh, okay.
But when it became available on August 1st, well, wait a minute. I don't even know if it's a pre-order or if it's an order. I think I just ordered it. I think it's available now.
Okay. Well, yesterday was August 1st from the day of recording.
Right, exactly. But I ordered the Lego Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That became available August 1st. I jumped on that as soon as I woke up in the morning. And I was like, okay, need to get my hands on this because I know it's going to sell out really quickly. Or at least I'm assuming it's going to sell out really quickly if it hasn't already. So I placed the order. It is going to be on the way, and it will probably be the first thing I do when I move into my new home.
It's got like over 2,000 pieces or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Totally doable.
That's cool. I'm just heading over there right now just to take a quick peek.
Yeah. But the cool thing about it is it's it's a Lego version of the Nintendo Entertainment System that you build. Yep. And you build a television set with the Super Mario Brothers game in the TV or on the TV. But then next to the television, there's a little crank that moves Mario on the TV set, so it looks like he's jumping.
Yes, and if you have the Mario from the other Lego set, the Lego Super Mario set, put him on top of the TV, and he'll make the noises as you crank through. This Nintendo, I didn't realize there's a little bit of a side shot of the NES console, like even to the point of the AV inputs you put in there.
Yeah, they made it really detailed. And then on top of that, and I don't know if Target, because it's available at Target, it's available on Lego.com. I don't know if Target is doing it, but when I ordered it on Lego, I was like, I didn't realize that you get something else with it. So when you order the NES,
Yeah.
you get a Super Mushroom Surprise expansion Lego pack with it.
Oh, oh, that's
So
cool. And
yeah,
that adds on to that original base Super Mario Lego set.
yes. So yeah, so I wound up getting some type of bonus with ordering it, which is
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Lego.com, it is temporarily out of stock.
Yep. That's what I figured.
And check store stocks. Let's see. Let's take a peek, at least in my neighborhood. Yeah, no, this is actually really cool. And a lot of people were a little concerned. Oh, just Lego store stock. Okay. A little concerned with the price and everything, but and you're a little bit of, I'm not gonna say an aficionado when it comes to Legos, but you got a couple of high-end Lego sets. These are well worth the price, I think.
Well, I think they're well worth
These
the
bigger
price.
ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the bigger ones, I think they're worth the price if you're going, like, if your plan is to build them and keep
Oh, of
them.
course, yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're planning to build it and then just take it apart again, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. If you're buying it to collect it, you're never gonna open it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I will say when I saw the price, I kind of balked at it a little bit because I'm like, I've never spent that much money on a Lego set. Actually, and to be honest with you, the only Lego set that I have is the Central Perk from Friends, and I got that for.
You had another one.
No,
Oh, okay.
I only have that set, and I got it for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, I've always been more of a puzzle guy. I was never a big Lego guy.
No, that I knew. Yeah, I
But,
don't know why they had another one. Okay.
Yeah, but obviously because it was the Nintendo Entertainment System, I'm like, you know what? I'll splurge on this one because I know I'm going to wind up displaying it somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, like, this one is worth it for that
Totally.
specific reason.
And it's $230 on Lego.com. And yeah, I've seen, like, when in the Lego store, like these, like the Empire State Building or like the space shuttle. Yeah, they go for a couple hundred. The Simpsons house, I think, was like $200 and something.
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon.
Yes,
which is like, I think it's like $700 or $800.
Yeah, the Death Star. So all these,
yeah,
again, ginormous ones, not just the ones that we played with when we were little.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah, no, Lego has definitely found a niche in build, these like catering
themes
to adults now.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but catering to adults, it's like they found a whole other age group to
what about the show on Fox? That Lego Master show.
I never watched it. I heard it was really good though.
Neither have I. But I heard it was really good.
Yeah.
So, all righty.
But yeah, Lego NES, highly recommend.
All right, cool.
Well, or if you want to get your hands on it, I would suggest, since it's sold out on Lego, to go to Target and see if it's still available.
Yeah, check that. And these, I've never really heard of like these Lego sets really like discontinue. Well, I mean, eventually they'll probably discontinue, but not for a while. So I'm sure they'll just end up releasing more. So unlike Nintendo, who likes to hold back, I think Lego wants to make their money. And
I'm sure Lego can release as many as they
want. Unfortunately for me, though, I got some bad news on my end. I did not I wanted to, but I did not pre-order the Lego set. In fact, there's a couple pre-orders I'm unfortunately going to have to be skipping out on, a couple of which I've already had to cancel.
Ooh.
Yes, unfortunately. So long story short, it looks like I'm going to have to I have no choice, be in the market for a new car. As I was driving to Game On, in fact, I was on the LIE, the Long Island Expressway. And folks, if you know what the LIE is, you do not want to be stuck on there.
No.
Let alone towed from it. And I'm like a half hour outside, away from my home. Basically, just it takes me like an hour, and this was going to be a little more than an hour because it was Friday after work, and traffic rush hour, I should say, is back, and it's back in full force. I'm driving, all of a sudden I hear this noise, and almost like it sounds like a spring that's loose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell is that noise? So, and I'm not a car guy, so I have no idea what's going on underneath the hood of my car. All I know it's coming from the rear. And I'm like, dang it. So pull off, head home. Like, I'm driving like 30 miles an hour with the hazards on in the right lane, just praying to get home because I don't want to pay extra to get towed from a highway like that.
No, definitely not.
And then I get home, I still don't know what it is. I mean, hopefully the issue, I thought was going to be cheap, but long story short, well, it's already too long. The car is, having some issues. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. Let me go get a car. With that being said, though, I'm like, you know what? And it's funny when I say the adult thing to do, even though we're doing a podcast about playing video games and stuff, which nowadays I think can be seen as more adult things to do.
I agree.
Actually, I had that conversation with friends of mine yesterday. I'll mention that as well. All right, I got just saw Johnny saying I got a couple things to mention. So I had to cancel some pre-orders because I need money, and I'm gonna need money for a while because now I gotta pay a monthly note bill, and my insurance is gonna go up because I got a new car and more coverage.
Yep.
So I had to cancel the arcade, that little arcade that Sega was putting out. You know, the ones that look like the arcades in Japan.
Oh yes.
There was a collection on that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I had to cancel my Game Gear pre-order, which I was honestly looking forward to those. I know everyone's crapping on it, but I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think in the long run, I think that was a wiser decision. I have a feeling I just think you're going to be able to get your hands on those later for a lower price.
I hope maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
And the biggest one that's going to hurt right now but they're usually not too bad with it completely being done. As of when this podcast drops, it's going to be a day late, but the pre-order for the Analog Pocket goes up August 3rd at 8 a.m. And that's the one that's hurting right now.
Yeah, I know you wanted that one badly.
I do. And Analog's not bad because really the only thing that's discontinued with Analog is their super duper NES.
Right.
Not a super NES, a super duper NES.
Can you put a pre-order in with Santa?
I'll see what I can do. You know, Santa's pretty good. He never comes to my apartment, but he's always showing up at my parents' house. But he knows that I spend the night at my parents. You know, it's just the three of us. So he knows to travel over. So drop everything with it.
Yeah, just drop a letter in the mail. Maybe it'll work.
But I have a feeling Santa doesn't know how to use the Analog website.
Oh, okay. Well then, I have a feeling that you are screwed.
And Mrs. Claus and Santa may get into a fight about it. So,
but I have a feeling Mrs. Claus might win that.
Nowadays, yeah, maybe. But here's the pre-order information anyway. And again, Analog, you know, a lot of their stuff is still available, so I'm not worried about it discontinuing. Mm-hmm. It may be out of stock for a long time, but I'm not worried about it being discontinued. So anyway, so here we go. The Analog, the system itself is $200, which really isn't too bad.
Okay.
All of this, as of right now, of course, with the way the world is, it could change, but as of right now, all of this is shipping May of 2021, and that's as per Analog. So you can get either the black unit or the white unit of the Analog Pocket, $200. And remember, this thing is running, for those of you who care, this is running the games. This is not emulation. This is off the carts. Mm-hmm. So this is essentially having an original Game Boy in your hand. The unit out of the box will play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. Now they have some accessories. We've talked about this once before. Mm-hmm. You can buy the analog dock so you can play these games on your television. Yep. That will be $100. A nice case, clear case for $30. And the clear case almost doubles as like a display case because it'll stand up vertically and it'll stay vertical.
That's cool.
And a screen protector, fast charging, UBC, whatever. Here's the other thing, which I would have ordered. The adapters. With adapters, you can play on the same unit Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and Atari Lynx games. And that is really cool. The only one right now that's going to be available is the Game Gear adapter for $30. Not too shabby.
Okay.
Not too bad at all. The other two are just coming soon. There's no release date for them, and you're unable to pre-order them on the 3rd anyway. And then various different links. Remember, you can actually link this Analog Pocket to an original Game Boy and play 2-player games,
which is cool. I guess my overall question though is, and not to downplay this in any way, shape, or form, but like, what was your intention of using this? Was it going to be handheld or hooked up to the TV?
Oh, I was not going to buy the dock.
Okay,
it was going to be handheld.
Okay.
Yeah. My reason for not buying the dock is I have a Super Game Boy.
That was going to be my question, because if you have a Super Game Boy, you don't really need.
Correct. Correct. And I can go even further. I got the Game Boy player on the GameCube, so if I wanted to play Game Boy Advance games. Now, granted, I could have played Game Gear games on the television.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Lynx and Neo Geo. But I think I would probably keep this as a traditional handheld.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for those of you who want to, deep dive into it, remember you can make music with it. You can make your own games with this. So there's a lot more to it.
Which is cool. I really wish you would have hung on to your Retro Freak or got it replaced, because I think I think that would have helped you out a lot.
Maybe. I know what you're talking about. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is more to get the feel of the traditional handheld.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So playing on the TV was cool back when it first came out. But I think for me, kind of getting that nostalgic feel, I'm kind of regressing back to just old school, holding it in your hand and play.
Mm-hmm.
But good call on it anyway. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And as you know, for me, it's got to be on a big screen, or I'm not going to. Except for the Switch, I have gotten used to the Switch.
Hey, well, that's a bigger screen.
Yeah, very true.
So August 3rd, or at least when this drops, it's a day later. So check out analog.co. That's ANAL. Well, let me try it again. Why'd I stop there? ANALOGUE.co. Check it out and let us know if you're going to pre-order this. And I'm just looking forward to it. So once I get everything in order, that is definitely the first thing I'm going to pick up or purchase.
Very cool.
I just got all these ideas popping into my head. So crap, I forgot to write it down. What were we just talking about? Adult things. Well, not adult things. Yes. So I was talking to my friend yesterday about this. So, when I just said before, being the adult, having to cancel pre-orders because of the car, but at the same time, when I think that, even though I said it, in my head, I'm like, oh, well, that's not cool, because then I'm saying that it's not adult to play these games. And let's face facts, when we were kids and we saw adults our age back then, life was completely different. And being a 40-year-old back in the 90s, really, because, when we finally got to that age, and of me and you, where, we understood everything with the games and, really appreciated them. 40 seemed very old, very mature, I should say, not old, but mature, where like I always remember going, boy, I wonder when that point's going to be where, I have to stop playing and enjoying these games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you ever had that feeling of like, you knew there was going to be a point that you had to stop doing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we all expected to transition into a different phase of our lives where it's like, oh, okay, so the natural progression is going to be, we grow up, we get married, we have kids, we have a job, we have, those responsibilities. And because of those, stuff we enjoy doing as kids is going to fall by the wayside, which would essentially be video gaming.
Yeah.
But guess what we didn't do?
Well, neither one of us got married, had kids, nor stopped playing video games.
Yeah, so I think when you look at it in that way, we're a little bit of an exception. Now, I'm not saying that people who are married with kids don't play video games, because I'm sure a lot of people do.
I play with 3 of them almost nightly.
There you go. So, and I play with my fellow gamers online as well. But what I mean is, like, gaming has become just a natural part of our culture. It's not just, it doesn't cater to just kids anymore. Nintendo was a big part of when we were growing up, and and Nintendo catered to the family. If you remember, it was a family-friendly system, and that's what they wanted. They didn't just want kids; they did want the whole family element to it.
Yeah.
But when we think back to it, it was really geared towards kids, not towards adults.
Go ahead. Yes.
And I was going to say, as we grew up, gaming has evolved, because remember, gaming back then was relatively new. It had only been around. It had only been around since the early 70s. They were still trying to figure out what it was for. Arcades were like the big thing at the time, before the home consoles became a bigger hit. So again, we were kind of in the toddler phase, I want to say, of the gaming industry.
Agreed.
So as the gaming industry grew up, we grew up with it, and because of that, it evolved. The gaming industry evolved to continue appealing to us, to market towards us. So then it became not just about kids, because they didn't want to lose that. They didn't want to lose the base they already had. So
Agreed.
so that's
Agreed.
how we got, and that's when we started getting hey, we're gonna make Mortal Kombat. We're gonna make, these fighting games. We're gonna make these, we're gonna make war games. Ooh, Halo, really cool first person shooter, Call of Duty, so on and so forth. These are games that are not supposed to be played by kids, even though whenever I sign on to Grand Theft Auto 5, most of the players in that lobby are probably 8 years old.
Yelling, cursing at you, saying words that you would never utter out of your mouth.
No, or when you did utter them out of your mouth, back when we were kids, you just did it amongst your friends, so no adult heard you. Now it's throw caution to the wind, say every curse word you can because you think it makes you.
Yep. Yeah, and I just think that, again, that's just, society. Like back in the day, like I'm talking like our great grandparents, were just like, I'm not saying us specifically, I'm just saying
television
general. Well, that, B, like very strict. Like, you always see like those old timey, like where like the father almost like was just there to bring home the money and be the disciplinarian, and never really had any interaction, like would not play with his kids because that's not what a father does or a parent does. And this is not preaching as to what a parent should be. I'm just saying what the signs of the times were. And then later on it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna be more involved with my child. I'll play with them, but as they get older I'll teach them to become more mature. And then now we're at this point where when I play PUBG with our friends, I hear them in the background, usually just sending their kids to bed because they want to play games. And they're desperately trying to get their children to bed, even though it's 11 o'clock at night and their children should be in bed anyway.
Well, yeah, there are two things to look at that way. One is the advancement of technology.
True.
When you talk about our great grandparents' time, obviously none of this stuff was around. You were just coming around to electricity.
All right, they're not that old.
No, but we're going back. Let's say we're going back to early, like the turn of the 20th century. We're only talking about a little over 100 years ago, but we're talking about electricity, motor vehicles, radio, television. Like they went through the earliest stages of technological advancement. So at the time, there wasn't, for the most part, most people didn't have that. So it really was just one, worrying about your job and raising your family and everything like that. The other thing to worry about, I don't know, 2 world wars, a Great Depression. There were other priorities back then.
There were.
When people use the term first world problems, clearly everything we currently go through are first world problems, at least right now. There's a pandemic that's really, starting to make its way into that and be like first world, nothing. We're going to hit everything. But
just wait for that giant cube-shaped object in space that's bigger than Earth makes it over here.
Ooh, that'll be fun. Looking forward to that.
That might be real.
Just make sure you have your towel. Always have your towel for the apocalypse.
The Borg is showing up.
But again, and that's really what it is. It's like as technology advanced, our society has changed the way it views things. Entertainment is extremely important now, and it's the ultimate diversion, the ultimate escape, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have television shows, video games, we have all this kind of stuff to keep us entertained.
All right. Yeah. Signs of the times.
That's all.
So
that's all. Not to dip into your cliche of the man makes the money and yada yada yada.
No. It was just like like you see it on TV. You know what I mean? Like old movies, then old movies, then recent movies. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like just kind of how things were. Like again, when I was little and I saw 40-year-olds, they were nowhere near video games. They were nowhere near comic books. You know what I mean? Like they weren't still watching cartoons.
Well,
I was just watching He-Man before.
I mean. My dad collected comic books while I was growing up, so
there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong. I'm no disrespect. I'm just saying in general. I know my dad certainly was. Well, but he played Dr. Mario. So
that was the other thing too. Like when we got an Atari 2600 in the house, like I would argue that my dad played it just as much as I did because I could not get him off Missile Commander Asteroids.
And again, you're right. My father played Desert Strike and Dr. Mario.
Yep.
I still
and then Tetris. Tetris wasn't literally everybody in my house played Tetris.
No, I didn't have Tetris really. And my dad wasn't playing the Game Boy. If we had Tetris, maybe. But I've mentioned it before. Like I said, I think my dad was playing Dr. Mario, not realizing it was helping his PTSD. But that's a whole nother story for a psychologist.
Yes.
Ooh, and that's a good question if we ever get one on again.
Well, I think we can circle back.
We will see. So, but in any event, so there's your there's our adult conversation for the show. Let's get
thanks
back.
For that. Thanks for that segue.
Let's get back to video games. I have one issue with the Switch.
Uh-oh.
Finally, I have an issue with the Switch.
You're not happy with Nintendo?
There is something about Nintendo that I'm not crazy about. And just give me just a few seconds just to do some quick math. Well, if you know me, maybe give me a minute.
Pray tell, what is it?
2, 4.
Use your fingers.
Wow, I'm really getting confused right now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I have 19 controllers for the Switch.
Why?
So I have the Pro controller. I have, I believe, 5 sets of Joy-Cons because of the different colors that came out.
Oh, boy.
I have the NES controllers. I have the Famicom controllers. I have the Super NES controllers. Oh, and then I forgot to mention, I ordered the on eBay and just got them recently, the Super Famicom controllers.
So you have over 20 controllers for the Switch, and you 99% of the time play it alone?
Yes. But here's the problem. So my buddy Mario, who's been on the show.
I think I already see the problem. You don't have to say anything.
He was upstairs. He had his 2 girls with him. So there was 4 of us up here. We were playing Switch. And I forgot the Switch, you can only pair 8 controllers with the Switch. Mm-hmm. So with me going back and forth with all the controllers, recently hooking up the Super Famicom controllers, I've completely lost track which controllers are hooked up. We were trying to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay.
And 12 times, we must have had to redo the controller setups because I couldn't get all the controllers to pair at the same time because one of them would always be disconnected. It was such a headache to the point where I'm going, can I sell some of these Joy-Cons?
The easy answer to that question is yes, you absolutely should. There's no reason for you to have them. You know, I have the original ones that came with my Switch. The gray ones. Those.
I threw here's my frustration. Hold on. I threw those out when the Joy-Con drift was happening because I couldn't deal with having to ship it out and wait to get them back. I just bought new Joy-Cons.
Oh no, see, I shipped mine out.
Yeah, you know, remember toothbrush.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So the toothbrush thing. It's like, use a toothbrush. Like, no, fix it. It's new. So Joy-Con, yeah, I have the original Joy-Cons with my Switch, and I have a Pro controller. The end.
What if you have more people come over?
I've yet to have that happen.
But
okay, so how many years has the Switch been out? 3?
17, 18. Yeah, just about.
All right, so it's been out for 3 years. I've never had an issue where I'm like, oh my God, I don't have enough controllers.
See, and I prepare for the worst. Yesterday I had 4 people here. I had an abundance of controllers, and I still couldn't get it to work.
Well, I was just gonna say, you had 4 people over. You only need 4 controllers. You don't need 20.
Well, no, because if we're playing, sometimes you would pair the 2 of them together. So then you know what I mean. So technically, it's 2 controllers. You know, so. And I did order more of the.
Okay, you know what? Whatever helps you sleep at night, Larry.
So now I don't know. Nothing. I don't know what's connected to the Switch now. So I'm gonna be readily surprised when I saw playing it again.
Knowing you, it's probably like a Wii controller.
Probably this. Yeah, I almost hooked up the game because I started playing Super Smash. So that Nintendo, allow to hook up more controllers to the Switch, please. You're gonna kill me.
Yeah. Oh boy. No words for you there. No words.
We got a couple of things to check. Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, a couple other things. I got a couple of news bits to share.
Okay.
One is that I don't know what is the date on this article. I don't have a date on the article. However,
right.
I can tell you that right now that Streets of Rage 4 physical editions are available in store. So if you have not purchased Streets of Rage 4 yet, which honestly I haven't done yet, I'm actually very surprised.
Oh, I thought you had it. Okay.
No, did not buy it yet. I've been working on trying to beat Streets of Rage 3, but it sucks. But yes, so it's available in the US and Europe. You can pick it up for the Nintendo Switch on Amazon it's currently on sale for $34. Original price is $40.
Not bad.
And then interesting.
What?
There are 2 different physical editions you can choose from. There's a standard retail version, which includes the game, a reversible cover with alternative artwork, an art book, and a key ring. Or you can buy what I'm going to call the Larry edition, because he'll be purchasing this. This is the signature edition. It comes with 5 limited edition enamel pins featuring Cherry Hunter, Blaze Fielding, Axel Stone, Adam Hunter, and Floyd Irea.
I like that.
Numbered collector's certificate.
Oh, man.
Axel Stone's blue bandana, complete with Streets of Rage 4 logo.
You use that nowadays.
Dual CD, full original soundtrack.
That's a good soundtrack.
Packaged in a sturdy Sierra box with outer sleeve.
Gotta have if it doesn't have an outer sleeve, I say screw it.
Yep. So that is the special edition that is currently available as well for the Switch. So Larry, I know you have to buy a new car, but make exceptions.
I like how, because I went to Amazon. I like how how Amazon sometimes you can like frequently bought together, and then you can buy all 3 pieces at the same time. It's recommending to buy Streets of Rage 4 for the Switch, also for the PS4, also for the Xbox One.
There you go. Yeah. Well, let's face it. That would be something you would do.
No, not when it's a current game. 2 generations from now, I would.
I was just going to say, all right, well, wait 2 years. Like, wait, a retro Streets of Rage 4.
No, this game is actually well worth it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I'll probably eventually buy the physical copy.
Okay. I have for the PS4, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I also have... I'm sorry. All right. Timing is terrible. I also have on pre-order on the PS4 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yes.
And WWE Battlegrounds.
Nice.
Yes.
I will not pre-order those, but I'll order physical copies like I always do.
Well, I think you can pre-order. I think you can right now through their website.
Physical? Oh, okay. Well,
I think so. I have to double check. Maybe for Xbox stuff.
Well, here's another. Here's a game that I'm actually very interested in that I wanted to bring up also, and it will be available on the Switch.
Oh yes, you sent me this. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you this. So it is an anti-RPG PlayStation title called Moon.
Yeah, I've never heard
of it. That
is
arriving on the Switch, and well, the reason why you haven't heard of it is because it's never been available in the U.S. It's Japanese. It was only released in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time the game has been. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was released in the U.S. My apologies. But again, it was one of those titles that we didn't really know about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first time the game is being released in English since its original debut on the PlayStation in 1997.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's already available on the Switch in Japan, but it's coming to the US on August 27th.
Okay. Okay.
And the idea of the game is Moon is a game about turning RPG tropes upside down and seeing what really happens behind the scenes of your favorite RPG games. So how does that work? So I'm just going to read this really quickly.
Okay.
One night under the silvery light of a full moon, a young boy is suddenly sucked through his TV and into a video game, a classical JRPG, Japanese role-playing game, called Moon World. Following closely behind the game's brave hero, the boy begins his own journey to recover the world's missing moonlight by collecting love. That's the point of the game.
Secret ingredient is love.
But here's the thing about it. Moon is not a game where you fight to level up. Your own progress comes by gathering the lost love. As you explore the world, you'll meet a crazy cast of weird and wonderful NPCs, observe their strange habits and daily routines by visiting them at different times and days of the week, and learn their secrets to uncover even more lost love. So the reason why it's called an anti-RPG game is because you're not the hero on the quest going through the battles. You're the guy who follows up on the. You're basically the guy behind the hero who's visiting everybody after the hero has already gone through it.
That's awesome.
So you're literally talking to like all the townspeople after they've completed their mission with the main hero, and then you're just watching them live their lives. So there's just something about it. It's so funny and so different that I need to get a copy of this.
Nah, me too. Actually, you know what it is? Here's why. I know you said it was released in the U.S. before, but it actually wasn't. It was
Oh.
released originally on the PlayStation in '97. It's currently on the Nintendo Switch Japanese eShop, and it's been up there since October. So if you have access to that, you can actually get it now. Of course, the westernized version will be released, as Anthony said, August 27th. So there was plans E3 of '97 for this game to come out here in the US, to the point where GamePro actually advertised it for a US release, but it was never published by any other company. ASCII Entertainment was the ones that published it for the PlayStation. English fan translations have been attempted before and stalled. So this is truly the first time this game's going to get really westernized with
okay, so that's awesome.
Yeah, this looks really cool. That whole idea, you know, there was I don't know if it was a movie or a TV show that was going to come out that had that premise. Like they were like a government agency that came in after the superheroes had these battles and the cities were destroyed, and like they kind of come in and kind of have to like clean up afterwards.
Yeah, they released that. It was called it was Damage Control, I think it was called.
Oh, okay. I don't remember, but it was a great idea, great concept.
I remember there was a DC version and there was a Marvel version they were both trying to get out. I think the DC one came out and then didn't.
Okay.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's kind of like that. It's the party after. It kind of reminds me of, although this was an RPG. There was a Lord of the Rings game that came out on the Xbox, which was awesome, called Lord of the Rings: The Third Age.
Okay.
And you were a party of people that were basically the second wave of attack behind the Fellowship. So you were still going through battles and stuff like that, but you were basically like the other major team on the battlefields.
You were like 20 minutes behind at all times.
Basically, yes, you were 20 minutes behind the Fellowship the entire time. And so, but it was kind of cool to do that because it was like you were learning, you know, you were using all these different characters while still being a part of the actual story, the War for the Ring. So, you know, to me, it's kind of like that, except obviously after the hero goes by, it's like these NPCs have nothing left to do. So they're like, all right, we'll just go back to our lives. It's like,
our town's been destroyed. All right, have a good day. Level up. Right.
Exactly. And then, all right, let's rebuild, I guess, you know.
Rebuild it. They will come. We do not want them to come again.
Yeah,
leave it.
So August 27th, Moon sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
I'm definitely going to pick up a copy of that. Maybe I'll get through it as part of our contest because it's a retro game.
This is true. I will count it. I will absolutely count it. I'm now interested. Now I'm interested in seeing how much the Japanese game goes for the original PlayStation.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Keep an eye out on that one.
Well, I'll let you know next time I go to Japan, which
fair enough
won't ever happen again.
You never know.
You never know.
At this point, you never know. All right. So I have one more. I have one more little thing to show, and I just bought this recently because it popped up. It was no, it's nothing major. Trust me, nothing major at all. You know, like those ads that every now and then will pop up on Instagram and stuff. And actually, as we talk about everything, they're always listening, so they know. But I saw this come up, and I'm like, I got to get this. It is a hot sauce from a company called Tacticalories. Tacticalories. Actually, upstate New York, Webster, New York, they make these out of.
Okay.
It is called, they're not strictly this topic, but this is the Bows.
Nice.
Trying to get a good light. Oh, stupid ring light.
Right. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
To see. Very nice. The Bows.
The Bows, hot sauce. What does it say? We've reached the castle, and you're about to save the princess again. Fight fire with fire. So
awesome.
So if you're a hot sauce collector or if you use hot sauce, this is actually 8 out of 10 hot, so I'll never use this.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah,
I would use that.
I am not a fan of hot anything.
I love spicy.
It's got a. Why am I trying to?
Kind of makes me in the mood for. Kind of makes me in the mood for like buffalo.
No, I can't. I just cannot. But folks, and I will throw him under the bus on this one. If you ever get a chance to eat hot wings with Anthony Chu, he gets like atomic fire blast.
Yep.
And then the top of his head just breaks out in a sweat.
Yep.
It is.
I have witnessed this.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
So awesome. Funny. And he knows about it, but it is hysterical. Obviously he knows about it. Should bring a towel with him.
And that's very cool. And then one last thing that I wanted to touch on is even though I've been for the last, I want to say 6 weeks, been in a constant state of flux with prepping to move and all that stuff, and actually moving across country,
Hmm.
and readjusting everything like that, I still managed to complete a game on my PS4. So kudos to me.
What?
What? So I've been playing this series of games on the PS4 called Zero Escape.
Okay.
So it was a trilogy of games. It started with Zero Escape, the Nonary games, Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward, and then the last one, Zero Escape Zero Time Dilemma. So it's a set of 3 games. I played the first 2 earlier this year, but the last one I've been playing basically over the course of the last like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Just completed it. The whole idea behind the game is essentially they're escape the room adventures.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
there's a storyline going on, and then you're stuck in a room. You have to figure out how to escape. But as you go along in the game, the whole idea behind it is that it's like a choose your own adventure. You get to parts in the game where you make a decision, and the decision you make branches down a different path where stuff happens to the characters. And basically the idea is to complete all of the paths so you can complete the game.
Oh, okay.
And in some versions, the path you choose, you die, and other versions, others die, and other ones you survive and you continue the story so that you can learn everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The first game was really, really cool and interesting, like the Nonary game one.
Okay.
And then apparently, since people liked it so much, the second one was like that game on steroids. Like there were so many different branches and stuff to do that it got to a point where it got a little tedious. Where I'm like, all right, I'm done. Let me finish. And then then you get to the third game, and I'm like, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, you know what? I like this. It went back to the original one, so I'm kind of enjoying it. And then the story like makes all these wacky turns, and I'm like, okay, this is now just weird. But the trilogy of games is all essentially one long story.
Oh, okay. So it connects.
Yeah, they all connect if you can keep it straight in your head. And it's hard to do because depending on the choices you make, you're not necessarily following a linear path on one story because you branch all over the place.
Gotcha.
So ultimately, it gets kind of confusing, and they do their best to explain it away, and they kind of sort of do. But because it's a time travel element, you can't really explain it correctly. Like it even got to a point where in one part of the game, they basically regale you in the Back to the Future plot line without saying it's Back to the Future to try and explain what they're doing. And I'm like, well, yeah, but even Back to the Future had its flaws. So,
hey, you get your feet off of her. It can't be hands, so it's got to be feet.
Yeah. I particularly enjoyed when they were calling Marty's name was M. That was how they went with it. Let's say this character M in this movie does this.
Was there some punk kid or crazy-eyed old man who thinks he's a scientist?
They didn't defer to that, but refer to that. But anyway, if you like those types of games, because it's basically like a video game version of a choose your own adventure storytelling kind of game. Kind of had like anime kind of animation to it, so not a lot of movement, but subtle movements to make everything work. Overall, an enjoyable experience, but just not something that I think is suited for everybody.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah, but if it's something like I would say, just try the first one. The first one stands alone by itself. The second and third one is when they decided to go crazy.
What system did you say again?
I had it on the PS4, but I believe it's available on. I think it's on PS4, Xbox, and Switch. I think.
Okay.
So called Zero Escape: The Nonary games. I do recommend at least playing the first one. I think you would enjoy it just for a different type of video game challenge. Fair
enough. Sounds good to me.
Yep.
I'm good on mine. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, that's it for me. Again, I'm gonna be a little off for the next few weeks because of the living situation and the moving situation. So
fair enough.
I expect to be back in full gaming mode, by the end of the month.
All right, cool. And as everyone saw in last week's YouTube episode, I'm handling the editing, so forgive me.
Yeah. Sorry,
so
guys.
I'm gonna play around with it a little bit. But yeah, all right, cool. So Ant, do you remember where everyone can find us?
I don't even know where I can find myself right now physically. You want me to remember digitally?
I'll do
Virtually?
it. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Retro Gamers Podcast, Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. Email us. Email at the retrogamers.com.
.com.
Yep. And hit us up. Give us topics. Talk to us. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about. You know what? Someone.
Oh,
yeah.
there
Go ahead.
it was.
Go ahead. What do you
I
got?
just remembered. No, just to throw in a quick retro birthday.
Ding.
But August 1st was the was it the 29th anniversary of Mario Paint?
Oh wow. Wow, 29 years ago? I
believe it was
remember getting that
I
game.
believe it was 1991. Well, not only do I remember getting that game, but I remember the music video I made.
Yes. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, and
You still have that?
I still have it on a VHS.
Oofa.
And at some point I will copy it over. But the funny thing about it is when I go back and I look at it or remember it, I just remember that was a time before the internet, so I didn't know the lyrics to the song.
Oh, so you had to go in and really?
No. Like you'll see that in parts of the music video, I wrote lyrics down that were completely wrong, which is awesome.
Oh, did you?
I don't remember. Totally. I totally did.
I'd like to go
because
back.
Remember, like in Mario Paint, you couldn't type words; you had to move.
Correct.
One letter at a time. So there was one screen where like I had gotten to the point where I didn't want to make this thing anymore. So I had a black screen with just the lyrics on it.
Yeah.
And it was a full page of lyrics that I had to move one letter at a time.
Oh boy.
It was painful.
But it came out really good.
Yeah. And not only that, I got the lyrics wrong, which is even funny.
Really? I'm shocked because I known of that game for a movie song for a while, and I thought you nailed it, but I guess not. All right, that's interesting.
Nope. I remember specifically. So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye? You don't get stoned.
You think you can?
You can stop me and spit.
Oh.
See, it's like I remember little things like that.
Yeah, that's all right. I wouldn't.
But anyway,
wouldn't blame you too much on that one.
Maybe one day I'll find that music video and throw it up somewhere.
Yes. I can't find it. Someone had sent a thing like those 30-day challenges, like like favorite this, favorite that, favorite other thing. It was game related. I can't. I'll find it eventually. Maybe we can do that for August
next week.
Yeah. All right. With that, and continue settling in. I'm glad you're finally, at least in your destination state.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to not be driving anymore, or I'm just happy. I'm happy that I am where I am. We'll see how the hurricane treats me today.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
And all right, folks, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamer. Oh, wait a minute. Stop the press.
What?
Stop the press.
What?
Whoever's
What?
editing,
What?
Larry, don't stop yet. Happy 4-year anniversary of the Retro Gamers podcast.
Oh yeah, duh. I was in the middle of the move during the 4-year anniversary, so we didn't get a chance to celebrate. You know what? Let's celebrate it next week.
All right, fine.
Properly. Let's celebrate it properly next week. Let's not just throw it at the end of our podcast.
Well, this is 4 years anyway, so happy anniversary nevertheless. We'll do more next week. Now we can catch you. I'm revisioning how I'm going to end the editing of this video.
Oh,
I'm going to catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers podcast.